As we were heading to the weekend, the Maersk, Alabama, which was a U.S. flagged ship, was captured by pirates. Now, in the beginning, what happened was they fought back a little bit, but the pirates were able to board the ship. Now, they don't have guns on board for good reason, partly because sometimes they're carrying things that could blow up, like the huge Saudi ship that was caught that had like 2 million barrels of oil on it or something. If a gun goes off near it, the whole thing blows. Is a terrible idea. What the captain decided to do was something very, very courageous. He said, go ahead to this crew, lock yourself inside the cabin, and I'm going to go ahead and give them myself as a hostage. Incredibly brave. And that works. They wind up taking the captain into a lifeboat. But here's what they didn't count on. The U.S. frickin' Navy. We spring into action, and our main objective is, I like how I'm saying it like I was in on it. Our main objective is to make sure they don't get to land. And if they get to land, we're never going to see, it's possible that we're never going to see the captain again. They're going to have a huge advantage. They're going to be able to hide them wherever they like, right? But luckily, a couple of U.S. Navy ships get there, and a helicopter gets there, and they cut them off. And then a standoff ensues. Then, throughout the standoff, they call Barack Obama several times to get, since he's the commander-in-chief, orders. Do we have the ability to shoot the pirates if we need to? And on several occasions, Barack Obama says, go forward, move forward. Now, this is perfectly representative of how Obama deals with things. Now, in the end, is it giving credit to Obama? Is that the way to go? Look, of course, first of all, the captain was incredibly courageous. He gets a ton of credit. The guys who executed this mission, of course, get all the credit in the world. But so I'm not saying this story to give credit to Obama as much as it is to explain how he operates, right? So in the old days, somebody writing for the Associated Press said, in the Bush days, they would have come out there guns blazing. Well, you know, that eventually did wind up happening here, literally. But proverbially, they would have come out in the media, the Bush administration would have, and be like, we're in a standoff and we're not going to have it and we're going to shove this thing down the pirates' throats and they're terrorists and we're going to get them. Obama had no press conferences whatsoever, didn't make any statements because he didn't want to inflame the issue. He didn't want it to get to be larger. He didn't want to put the pirates in a situation where they couldn't back down, among other reasons. So he kept a low profile, but he would get updates about 6 times a day. And then what did he do? He sent in negotiators and people from the Justice Department to make sure that it was handled in a way that we can get convictions once we get these guys in custody. So smart, thorough, and hey, let's not go shooting off at the hip here. Let's figure out what's happening, right? And they negotiate for quite some time, and they do not get any results. And when asked the bottom line, Obama said, go ahead, if you have an opportunity and if you think the captain is in danger, take him down. And later on in the process, it turns out that's exactly the situation we found ourselves in. There are 3 of the pirates on the lifeboat. One of the pirates has gone up to the U.S. Navy ship, and he's negotiating, plus he's hurt, and he's some reports are saying he's surrendering to get the treatment, some saying he's negotiating on behalf of the other 3. And the captain of the ship sees that they have, the snipers see it, and they reported to him that they have turned the AK-47 on the captain, who previously had tried to escape, and the pirates had brought him back in. They think he's in imminent danger, so they give the order. Go. And you're done. U.S. Navy SEALs ain't nothing to fuck with. Okay, so, look, we try to do things the right way. If you play ball, you're not going to get hurt. But the bottom line is, if you don't play ball, there will be consequences. Now, this message is going to get heard loud and clear, in my opinion, throughout the world. Now, for better and for worse, unfortunately. And fortunately. So, the fortunate part is, people know, hey, you know what? Obama and the administration and the U.S. isn't playing. If you put them in danger, they can put your ass in danger. Now, the flip side is, are tension is going to escalate here? Yes, Obama was concerned about that in the beginning, and the people in the Navy in that area were concerned about it. And then one of the commanders said, yes, look, this might involve escalated violence, and that's unfortunate, and we, are going to try to quell that as much as possible. The pirates are upset. This is the funniest part of the story. They didn't see this coming. And now they say, well, you know what? If you're going to kill our guys, then we're going to have to get violent with you. They seem like sincerely aggrieved. But dude, you're pirates. You had to know that it came with the territory when you board a ship with machine guns and RPGs that at some point somebody might fire back. Man, I tell you, man, that thing is badass, man. Here's what I do if Navy SEALs show up with snipers on the roof, or in this case a ship. I surrender. Because if you do not surrender, there's some chance that your life is seconds from over. They took 3 shots, 3 guys down, and out. Man, a lot of training goes into those Navy SEALs. And that's the result of that training. And that's why you don't mess with the U.S., because we have overwhelming firepower, and we know how to use it. Now, look, the inner liberal in me might think, hey, you know what, it's nothing to celebrate, 3 people died here. And the Somali pirates initially began, if you know the story, when they were guys who were shipping off the coast of Somalia, their own coast, and large international companies would come by and other countries would come by and throw toxic dump where they were fishing. Or they would do the fishing and cut the local guys' nets and say, we have more power than you. What are you going to do? You're not going to do anything. And then they became pirates. So I have some degree of sympathy for how this situation arose in the first place. The flip side is, I'm an American. If I get caught in a situation like this, wherever it might be, I want those U.S. Navy SEALs on a ship somewhere or on a rooftop somewhere protecting my ass. Okay, so when the push comes to shove, you bring in the snipers. Now, let's hope it doesn't spiral out of hand. The pirates are saying they're threatening some of the hostages they already have, because they have over 200 hostages on land from 20 different ships that they captured earlier. They say now the U.S. is enemy number 1, and we're going to go after you guys, and if you kill our guys, we're going to kill your guys. But I can't believe that they seem like this was a massive affront to them. You kidnap guys at gunpoint. Of course somebody's going to shoot back at some point, and the guys most likely to shoot back are, of course, the U.S. And if I was the pirates, I wouldn't put U.S. as enemy number 1. I'd stay clear of the U.S. ships. I don't know, maybe I'm doing too much braggadocio, right? But that's the upside of being American.